Yeah, honestly, I kind of saw this coming. This happens a lot where we have information that kind of gets floated around in the community, and then we hear some new information a couple months later, and everyone changes their mind just off of a little tiny piece of info. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Call of Duty World War II Vanguard for the past like 8 months has been just down talked like crazy, because the first bits of information we heard about it, I think was back in, it was either February or March, it was around that time. And it was revealed, or not revealed, but rumored to be called World War II Vanguard, and Tom Henderson specifically was saying that the game was basically in development hell. It was having all sorts of issues. The game's probably going to turn out to be really bad, have like no maps at launch, and just be completely bad, right? And now today, out of absolutely nowhere, he says the Call of Duty community is going to explode positively. So that means that he thinks there's some really big information that's going to come out regarding Call of Duty that will make everyone happy. Now, earlier today, he was also talking about some other leaks that he heard talking about Vanguard. Now, those leaks have been taken down. He said he was requested by Activision to remove the tweets regarding Call of Duty Vanguard. And I don't have an image of that tweet, but I do remember seeing the tweet. He simply was just talking about an image that he saw, and basically the image, or I think he might have saw the whole trailer, I'm not sure, but he saw a certain part of likely the trailer, and soldiers were on a beach. It looked like it was the Pacific Theater, and that's pretty much all there was to it. Now, what about this makes him think this is going to be a big positive thing? Was it the image? Was it just looking really good? Or is there other information that he thinks is going to make everyone happy? Now, I think the main thing people have been complaining about is skill-based matchmaking, so if he really thinks it's that big of a deal, would that mean that they're going to say something about skill-based matchmaking, maybe reducing it? I don't know. I'm not too sure, honestly. It could be anything. It could be just a really big new feature. It's got to be something big. It's not going to be just simply, oh, the game's in a good state and it's looking like it's got good graphics or something, because good graphics, that's we all know these games mostly have pretty good graphics. Modern Warfare 2019 had fantastic graphics. Cold War, although it went for a more cartoony, arcadey look, I still think it has fantastic graphics, especially those campaign cutscenes. Remember, we all heard about how good this game was going to look before launch, and it definitely does. But what is going to make the community explode here? Now, he doesn't say anything specifically about Vanguard in this tweet. It could be Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. MP will be coming out. We don't know. That's definitely a big possibility. But then Modern Warzone also says here that the next Call of Duty title is going to blow expectations out of the water after months of being torn down by the community before they even saw a glimpse of it. So here he's talking specifically about Vanguard, so this isn't about Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. And he tweeted this like a minute after Tom Henderson made his tweet, so I'm assuming they're connected. I'm assuming they know the same thing, or maybe they don't and they know different things that are both really good. Now, the reason I saw this coming is because I don't believe that Call of Duty would release a game if it was in that bad of a state. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, what about Black Ops 4? What about Black Ops Cold War? These games had issues, yes. Some of them had lack of content, yes. But at the end of the day, it was still a game that functioned properly. I mean, yeah, you might have had a lot of issues, but that doesn't mean everyone had issues. Like, I remember Black Ops 4 was definitely a big conversation in the community about how broken it was. Personally speaking, I only crashed twice in that game, and once was like 10 months after launch, and another time was in custom mutations where I made sure that like a million Brutuses spawned in on custom mutations. So obviously that's probably going to crash my game, but other than that, I never crashed once. My multiplayer ran just fine, Blackout ran just fine. So a lot of these glitches and bugs and everything that people are talking about is nothing that I experienced myself. And I think bugs and glitches are going to happen in every game. That's just how it is. Not even just Call of Duty, games in general. As long as the devs can get on them quickly and fix them as quick as they can, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But when it comes to content as well, I mean, we sit here and we complain about having only like 8 maps at launch for like 6v6. To most people, that is completely fine. I mean, we're hardcore guys who play a lot more than the majority of people. Therefore, we want more and more and more as much as possible. But now that we have free DLC, I don't think it makes sense to delay the game just to add a couple more maps in. Like, I think if you have 8 maps at launch, but you quickly add in more maps through Season 1, Season 2, you know what I mean? You keep adding more and more maps, it makes up for it in the end. at least in my opinion, because it's free. You know, it's not like it was back in the day where we would get like, yeah, 12 something maps at launch, but then we would have to pay for the maps that came afterwards. So it's like, oh, well, now, you know, I personally don't mind paying, but a lot of people do. And obviously, therefore, the, you know, casual players who don't really want to spend that extra money on the game wouldn't be able to experience the DLC maps, but now we do. So I think getting a couple less maps at launch makes sense, and I'm not really against it. And you also have to take into account that we're replacing those extra maps that we normally would get with Fire Team and Gunfight and all these other different modes. So that is all important to take into account. And like I said again, the amount of content we get now, even in Cold War's launch, was more than enough for the majority of people. It's just for us, we want more and more and more. Is that what they're talking about here? Is this game rumored to have a lot more content than what we think? Because that's another big complaint I've been hearing from the community. It's really just skill-based matchmaking and content. I don't really see many other complaints because Cold War doesn't have that many mechanical issues when you really think about it. At least many mechanical problems that a lot of people find to be bad about the game. I mean, you think back to Modern Warfare 2019, there was a lot of arguments that a lot of people brought up for reasons they're not really happy with the multiplayer. But right now, I don't really see that many complaints other than maybe like, you know, just general things like saying the game is shit and the maps are shit and the balance is shit and stuff that doesn't really have specifics to it, or like the score streak system. I've definitely seen some valid complaints about the score streak system, but that's really it. So whatever is the biggest problem in the community right now, if it's going to be fixed for the next game, it's either got to be about skill-based matchmaking, maybe even anti-cheat, but that's more of a Warzone thing. I don't really see people like multiplayer players or whatever complaining about cheating that much. And also just general content. I don't know. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. I find this to be interesting because Tom Henderson, who has been very vocal about his negativity towards World War II Vanguard for the past like 6-7 months, he's just out of nowhere saying that this game is going to blow up the community. So what's going on here? I don't know, but I'm very intrigued. This is definitely good news for COD players, that's for sure. So yeah, let me know what you think down below. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.